Today on the program, is Walmart stealing from you? And FatManAndLittleBoy.com gets a facelift.
Cain trains derailed. Fat Man's on to Newtville.
Hello and welcome to the program. I am your host, Fat Man.
And I'm Little Boy.
And this is the Netcast podcast for the first week of December 2nd, 2011.
Yes, almost through with the year.
The year, Christmas is coming. Mm-hmm. We got a lot to talk about. I want to talk about Black Friday last week.
Yes.
So
my wife participated.
So did mine. Mine was actually out of town with my kids. So it was a little vacation for me.
Yeah.
But
you seemed a little chipper last week.
I was much more chipper. And then till Sunday night. Anyway, Little Boy, how was your week?
It was pretty nice. You know, nothing special happened this week. How about you?
I heard you're real busy at work.
Yeah, I actually have been real busy. I didn't have a whole lot of time to read, although not that I do a ton of research for the show anyways. You know, let's be honest. But but I didn't really have a whole lot of time to research stuff. You know, it's just been really busy, and I try and do some of my research while I'm at work. I probably shouldn't, but you know.
Yeah, and in case you're his boss listening, he's joking.
Yes, of course I'm joking.
He's not serious about that.
I can't research at work. Most of the stuff's blocked.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Well, actually, this week I worked with the tech crew, and we built a completely new website.
Yes, completely ground up.
I mean, it was a lot of work. Let me tell you, I had no idea what really goes into a website. Yeah. I mean, our last website was a blog website from Google, and thank you, Google. We appreciated it. It got us started, but our viewership and users just overwhelmed it. And so we built a new website. It's on the back end of PLM Enterprises. PMLB Enterprises is the parent company to the Fat Man Little Boy show. Right. And they're the ones who host our service. We're both owners of it too. Right. And that's where, you know, they host a couple other shows as well.
And there's some shows in the works. There is. Can't talk about them yet, but there's some shows in the works. I'm really excited about that.
You could kind of put out a little bit about one of the shows.
Well, we have a individual who's interested in hosting his own show, and you know, I'm not going to call him out right now. Yes,
very colorful.
He's a very colorful, interesting individual, and I'm actually very excited to see what he comes up with.
Me too. I really think it's going to be a great show.
He's kicking around a few different topics. He's not exactly sure the exact direction that he doesn't want to be political. No. He's not into that or current. It's going to be more an entertaining show. And I'm very excited, to be honest with you. I'm very excited to see how it comes out.
And we'll have him on our show. You know, like we talked about, we're building the new studio. Right. But I think he's going to be probably before the new studio is complete, I think. Yeah. So we'll have him on the show here in this studio. And then when we get the new studio built, we'll definitely have an in and out. So, but anyway, FatManAndLittleBoy.com. If you have been on the site this week, it went live
2 days ago.
2 days ago, yeah. I think so. Was it 2 days ago?
Yesterday or the day before.
So if you went to FatManAndLittleBoy.com, it automatically goes over to the new site. Right. Now,
still a work in progress too. We're still adding to it, and we're still, you know, it's always going to be there.
I had no idea how much work it really was to add articles and add, you know, because I've been Twittering, you've been Twittering a lot.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, it is kind of, you know, and the followers on Twitter, I don't know where they come from, but all of a sudden they show up. Mm-hmm. But this new website is pretty good. Let's take a look at it here. You have the homepage that you're looking at now, and the latest video will be on the homepage there to the left. Right. There where it says the show, you'll see a smaller picture of a video, and it'll pretty much look there like the front page video. And what that is, that's actually a playlist, is what they told us. And what'll happen is you'll hit it, play there, and you can watch all episodes in a row. Right. Which is a lot.
Yeah, if anybody has that much time.
Yeah, but there's also another button on there where you can scroll through all the different shows.
Don't forget, all of our very early shows were audio only. We started out audio only. So if you want to hear our really early shows, you want to hear, I mean, if you think we sound rough right now, you should hear our first show.
That's true.
We're not claiming that we don't sound rough still, but We've made quite a bit of progress. You go to the audio section of the show.
Right. So there's, well, hold on now. Let's do it in order, little boy.
I'm sorry.
So you have the show, and then you're going to come up to the video link. You can click on the video link, and that will be just the videos of the show up and down there.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the audio, and it's just the audios of the show. Everything's real easy. It's a category layout, I believe it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if you're a tech person out there and I'm saying the wrong thing, I apologize. Then
you are.
Yeah, I might be. Then if you hit the show button, that takes you to a real similar layout as our old one. So if you're really into just the way we used to have it, it's the same thing.
The Blogspot page.
Just like the Blogspot. They recommended we did something like that because when people are into one particular way, stick with it. And plus, it was a neat looking little way too. It had the two different play buttons there.
I don't want to interrupt you here. Something smells really good.
Oh, I know. I smell that too. I think Wow Mom's in a test kitchen next door, and it's driving me crazy because normally
over here later on.
Yeah, I mean we could tell the people out there we actually tape on Thursday night for Friday's show.
Right
now. She's never here because Wow Mom, we're all in the same kind of studio, just kind of round in a circle here. And she usually tapes on during the weekend.
I think it's Saturdays.
Is it Saturdays?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's during the weekend.
We're not here. Yeah, it was because we came in on a Saturday and she was here.
Oh, but was she cooking for Wow Mom or was she doing
Maybe she was prepping. I don't know. She just brought us some delicious food as well.
So that happens later on in the week. But... okay, well, let's get back to the site.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So then you're going to have About the Guys, another button, and you click on About the Guys. It's just about me, about Little Boy. Pretty much since we're the two of the show, that's all you're going to get there.
We don't have a whole lot. We're gonna add more to the little bios there. We have a little bit right now.
Yeah, because you know what? It was crazy this week. All the different things. I mean, we had a photo shoot. We did all kinds of stuff. And
look, I got 16 followers now.
All right,
I can't believe that.
So you go to Fat Man's page. That's my page. You'll see that I have a little tiny thing in the front there. But then all of a sudden you'll go down to all the different stuff that I have been looking at the last couple of days. And when I look at an article, I'll paste it in there if I think it's noteworthy. Same thing. Go to Little Boy's page. You'll see that he's done the same.
I put a few articles. I probably won't have as many just because it's tough for me at work to update. I'm going to do my best to update it with some articles and stuff. I only have a few on there right now.
Yeah, and though, I mean, that's not we're not just out here to recap the news constantly,
right?
So, but again, if you can, now here's where it gets really kind of fun. If you see on Contact the Show, that is a, I know some people like this, some people don't like this, but this allows you to keep your anonymity if you don't want us to have your information. You can put your name, your email, your phone number. It's not necessary. You don't have to put it on there. How you heard about us, because we would love to know. We want to know how, if we're directing everybody the right way, and describe what describe your request. I don't really like what that says. Maybe I could tell the tech people we could change that. Then you submit it, and that goes directly to the PLMB crew, which is the producers, and then they'll get to us. Now, if you go to, let's go to the next one over. The next one is suggest a topic. Same kind of form again, but this time it goes to myself or to Little Boy. And if you leave your phone number, you will get a call back from us.
Yes.
Either one. So if it's a suggested topic that you want Little Boy to talk about, or a suggested topic that you want me to talk about,
right, or if you want us to both discuss it,
we'll discuss it. And
happy to.
Also, with suggested topic, you'll see on here, if you put your phone number in here and you want to be on the show, you're more than welcome to come on the show. So that's what that's all about, which is interesting because a lot of places don't allow you to do that. I mean, I know we're small netcast,
right?
But if you want to be on the show, you're on the show.
And you got something interesting to say.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't want to be talking
just to come on and say hi. If you got something interesting you want to talk about, we'd love to have you on. We like to, we get tired of just talking back and forth to each other. Not really, but...
Now, if you go to the side, you'll see you have the main menu, the home, the show, about the guys. You've already seen all that.
Right.
But you're going to see two links there, contact a fat man and contact a little boy. This is if you want an email to go only to me or only to Little Boy. If you click there, I'll show you how that looks. And basically, again, it goes directly to us. We read all emails,
We
and
do.
we listen to all voicemails. So if you want to contact us directly, you could contact us. If you don't want your stuff on there, you don't have to put your phone number on there. That's
and if
fine
you don't
too.
want us to mention, and if you don't want us to read it, don't read it. We don't read all of them on the air, but we read them all. And
We'll read them
discuss
all, but not on the air. So because we get probably 30, 40 emails a week,
Right.
and 30, 40 of them are not. There's one or two that we would put on the air
because it's interesting. It's got to be interesting for us to talk about it. And
well, they're all
some of them,
interesting. I would not complain about anybody's email that they have ever sent to us.
Right.
I would just say that there's some things we don't want to constantly go over.
Right.
Sometimes it's a little mean-spirited towards one or the other of us, which we do kind of put on there because we like to do it to each other.
Yes.
But okay, let's just finish the site real quick so we can get to our show.
Yeah.
You'll see latest items. What that is everything that Little Boy or I post or the crew posts, although the crew doesn't have their own thing on here yet. I don't know what that's all about.
I let them work on the site first, and then they can worry about it.
Yeah, maybe they can do that. Then you'll see latest items. So that's just stuff that we feel that's interesting. So,
Yeah.
And of course, there's subscribe to the show. Some people know how to do that. To be honest with you, I had no idea until this week. They explained to me how to do that. And then the iTunes button, of course. Now, iTunes is something that Little Boy works with. So, Little Boy, explain how that works.
It's just really easy. You just go into iTunes, if you've downloaded a podcast before, and you just search for Fat Man Little Boy, and we'll come right up there. Our feed is changing because of the website. The feed where they're getting the videos, the audio shows from is changing. We're still trying to figure out if you're going to have to resubscribe or not. We're not sure yet. We'll have to see. I have to see. We resubmitted it. We also submitted it to Zune. If you have if you use a Zune player, not a whole lot of people do. I happen to get a new phone that's a Microsoft-based phone now, and I started using Zune. So we submitted it to Zune, but you can search for it anyways. I've already got it the show downloaded on my phone anyways.
Oh, great.
So
what we could do too, if you want to do, is we could do a short where you explain certain things, and we could just put links on the website. If you want to look at it, that's fine too. Like I said, I don't use iTunes. So I didn't have an iPhone, and I don't use a Zune. So for me, I'm telling you, this whole week has been crazy with this tech stuff for me.
We're learning a lot, and we still don't know anything.
Yeah, I can't believe how much stuff there is to this stuff. HTML5 and what do you say, CSS something, and
it's all over my head.
My gosh, it was so many things. Well, anyway, I do appreciate the crew for helping us with that. Mm-hmm. Our tech IT guy was great, and we do thank him. So let's get to our show.
Get on to the show.
So I have to talk about this one.
All right, where do you want to start?
I'm going to start with the Occupy protesters. Occupy protesters in New York mobilized for Obama's visit. Now, Obama was at the Midtown Hotel Wednesday night for a fundraiser. Of course, he has a new campaign that he has to go for president. While he was there, about 100 or so Occupy protesters were saying, he's a sellout and that he's a puppet, corporate puppet and prophet. And the reason why,
unfortunately, all politicians are sellouts and corporate puppets. They all are. They have to be.
Well, I brought this up, and the reason why I was bringing this up is, how I feel about the Occupy movement. At the beginning, I wasn't for them.
You ignored it. You ignored it at the beginning,
but I don't ignore them.
And then you laughed at them.
Oh, come on! Don't do the Gandhi thing. Here's what happened. Once they mess with the police, I turn. That's it. 180. I hate them all. Well, now we have.
You can't paint them all with the same brush.
Doesn't matter. I do.
Well, of course. That's how you go through your life. You go through life doing that.
No.
Yes.
No. I paint them with this brush because, one, you said in November they were going to come out with a platform. It is no longer November, and I could read the calendar. Okay, I know you're going to give me trouble about that last week.
Well, last week you had trouble with it.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It is now December.
Right.
And there's no platform.
No.
They have no idea what they're doing. The different cities are starting to throw them out, which is right. New York had a big clean out, and they're finding stuff that's left that is just ridiculous. Drug paraphernalia, Oh, it's just disgusting.
It doesn't speak for all of them.
It doesn't matter. It's not painting with a broad brush. It just is happening. And you want to put your head in the sand and say, well, that doesn't happen. Blah, blah, there's only 1 or 2 bad apples. They're finding a lot more than 1 or 2 bad.
I didn't say that doesn't happen. I didn't say it doesn't happen.
You did say there's only 1 or 2 bad apples.
I said a few bad apples ruin the whole group.
You said a few. A few. I think it's more like 90% now.
Oh,
of the people who are left, of the people who are left, it's like 90%. Anyway, whatever. But now they're going ahead and turning on the president. So
they're not turning on him. They haven't been happy with. They're not happy with any of the politicians. It's not just it's not like they're against Republicans. They're against politicians being bought by corporations. And you should be against that too.
I am against that.
All right.
But that's not
they are fighting for you then.
No,
they are
not fighting for me in any
way,
shape, or form.
They absolutely are. And if what they want to change gets changed, it will benefit you, and you will be
I have
happy.
a question for you then.
Okay.
Because you've been following this movement.
Come
on, you've been following it enough. Black Friday, last Friday. They interfered with all these small businesses trying to get people in and out.
Well, I don't think they were interfering with the small businesses.
Oh, that's not true.
Interfering with the large ones, and I don't agree with that. I don't think you should. As much as you don't agree with that somebody is doing, that doesn't give you the right to physically stop them. I don't agree with that.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad that you're on that page with me, because I that was something that really upset me last week. We heard about even Walmart. Now, Walmart's one of the world's largest retailers, and so I'm not saying they're small mom and pop store, but they employ people, and they're necessary. You know what I mean? Whether you like how they are with their employees and their pricing and their buying from China, which I'm not for buying from China.
Well, the bottom line for like a company like that, if enough people are unhappy with them, they'll stop shopping there. And
right, but that's not going to happen.
It hasn't happened yet, anyways.
I mean, but what I'm upset about is how they believe that they can get into the middle of this and tell the people that their capitalism's wrong and they shouldn't be doing this. Well, they can tell people that. That's fine. You can say whatever you want, but you cannot interfere with my right. If I want to go here and there,
I agree with you.
Simple as that.
I agree.
Well, here's another thing. If I want to go to New York and walk through Central Park and not walk through your doot, then guess what? I should be able to do that.
I don't think they're all dooting on the ground in Central Park. I think you have a few people dooting on the floor, on the ground, and you're painting them all with the same brush because that's the way you do things.
Well, I think the Occupy movement now is no longer relevant. I think that they have lost any support from both parties.
Well, I don't think that they were looking for support from the parties. I think they were looking for support from
the people and they're losing that too.
Well, they're losing some, but I think they're gaining some too. I think the more people that understand it.
I think it's on a decline. I think it's on a great decline, and just in the way you see it, you hardly see it in the news anymore. And this is liberal media out there.
Haven't really been covering it a whole lot, anyways. I don't think.
Well, at the beginning they did. Come on, they had special reports and all kinds of junk.
It was mostly ignored at the beginning.
Well, it's ignored now.
Well,
and it's not even that people are laughing at them, Gandhi.
No, they're past that. They're at the fighting stage.
No, they're at the. We don't even care. You're insignificant.
They're fighting them. Right
Goodbye.
Now.
And so goodbye to them.
You better hope that something comes of this because it'll be better for you.
Listen, if something good comes of this, great. The problem is,
it'll be better for you, and it'll be better for me, and it'll be better for 99% of people in this country.
If the only thing they were doing is trying to get politicians not to take money from corporations, that's great.
That's their main goal.
You know what?
But you know what? They
but
do
you
have
can't show me that. Show me that platform that's.
They are scattered. They are scattered, and there are definitely a lot of things that they have. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. It was like they released like 21 resolutions or something like that, and I didn't agree with all of them. They're
like a manifesto. They're crazy.
No, that's not what it was. Come on. It's a nice mug. Where'd you get it?
Notre Dame.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, for my trip from Notre Dame.
Yes.
It's so cold here in San Diego.
Could have brought me back shot glass or something from there.
Yeah, but no. Yeah. It's like 62 degrees out here. We're freezing. That's our December in San Diego. It's like 62 at night and 78 in a day.
You should see me in the morning when I leave the house. I'm all bundled up and, like it's snowing outside.
The thing is, it needs to rain someday. I mean, I think the grass needs rain, but it hasn't rained there in weeks. Okay.
Right, let's move on.
Yes, we need to move on. Enough of your stuff, all right? Okay. Sign on San Diego, which is San Diego Union Tribune, which just got purchased. The Union Tribune here in San Diego has had a lot of issues with kind of being sold off to investment companies, and then after the investment companies take it, it gets cut up even more, and I feel bad for them. But anyway,
print news in general is just really, print news is really taken a beating the last 10 years.
And what's funny is, speaking of the website, we had to get permission from some of the places to use their print, and it's just not worth it, because the video news, or the main networks, they don't care. They'll let you embed anything you want. Hey, it's more for them. But some of these small newspapers, they I don't know what it is or how they're doing it, but I know they fired a lot of their employees. They've had a lot of issues here in San Diego. And
the problem is, if you remember, you remember back when you were a kid, your dad would come home when he'd get home from work and he'd grab the newspaper and he'd read the newspaper. If you waited to read about when you got home, if you read the news when you got home on the newspaper, everything's old business because of the internet and everything moves so much faster nowadays.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Stuff happens on Twitter now.
Yeah, you just hear about it instantly.
My phone, I'm just sitting there, and we're talking, because now that we're doing Twitter and stuff, I'm just sitting there, all of a sudden, boom. What just happened?
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's like, wow, yeah. Barney Frank is retiring? Yes! Goodbye, Barney Frank. But anyway, Science San Diego had in their paper today 62% of the medical marijuana outlets shut down here in San Diego. We talked about this before, and again, this isn't a weed show, but this is news.
Yeah.
139. Okay. San Diego is 2 million people in San Diego. There was 222 medical marijuana outlets in San Diego. Come on.
What's funny is I saw a program on TV about a medical dispensary, marijuana dispensary, and it's like a bank. I don't know if you've ever seen it before. Of course, I've never been in one. I had never been in one before. I always pictured one like, you can see a tie-dyed guy behind the counter, and he's got a glass case in front of him, and you're just saying, oh, I'll have some of that. You got, beanbag chairs in the corner and stuff. I don't know.
There's probably something like that, though.
It's like a bank, and it's all really... It was really strange. It was really strange seeing it on there because it was nothing like what I pictured, Well,
222. I don't know the number of pharmacies here in San Diego, but I bet you there's not much more than 200 pharmacies.
Oh, please.
You think so?
Oh, God, yes.
You think so?
Absolutely. There's more than 2,000. There's more than 200 pharmacies in El Cajon.
I don't know.
Oh,
but anyway, 222. So 139 of them have closed down.
One, buddy.
You think so?
Oh,
I'd like to know. That'd be, it'd be
way
a funny.
It's in the thousands. It's in the thousands.
Well, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but anyway.
Well, that just shot your whole point down.
Yeah, that did. So in 1996, as we talked before, California passed Proposition 215. Now, 215 was the Compassionate Use Act, and it had a couple of guidelines. One of the guidelines was that, of course, they needed a prescription from the doctor, and it was actually a doctor recommendation, which we talked to DB that time, and nobody knew what a doctor recommendation was. But anyway,
the one thing we did know was it was very easy to get one.
Yeah, but also that the dispensaries were to be called co-ops, and they were to be not-for-profit or non-profit. That it would be a co-op or a group of individuals who would grow the product and sell it at cost. So if it cost them $100, they sold it at $100. Well, as it turns out, the U.S. District Attorney got involved because, well, one, it's federally illegal, but the other thing was that the money was becoming gigantic.
A lot of people are upset with Obama because I think one of his campaign promises at the beginning was he was going to kind of leave this alone. Well, he's kind of going back on that. Some people think.
But you know what? I don't even fault him for that because
I'm not saying fault him. I'm just saying people are upset about it.
I remember him saying that too. But we
all know that no president ever keeps all their campaign promises. That you just can't. You know?
Can't. Plus, I think once you get into the White House, you go, oh my God.
And you see things a little differently and all of that. So I'm not faulting them for that, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying that that's just an issue. People are upset about that. That's one thing that people are upset about.
And it is understandable, but the deal here was, I think the dispensaries did it to themselves. Making this kind of hundreds of millions of dollars. They don't actually have exact figures because they don't know if they're getting exact numbers from the dispensaries.
Right.
You know, they I tell you one thing, they know they took in $100 million in tax. So what do you think they really got?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening was the U.S. District Attorney said no. This it's not happening the way it's supposed to happen.
It got so out of control because there's so many people that feel it should be legal, and I don't agree with this, but they feel like, oh, since it should be legal, it's okay to do it because it just should be legal, whether it's legal or not. The way they look at it is, it should be legal, so it's okay for me to do it. You know? A lot of people feel that way, and the same thing like with, a lot of people justify their reasons for breaking the law.
Well, and what they ended up doing was there is some uses of it. Now, I don't believe it does anything. I know that there's other medications, but whatever. If it really does do something to cancer patients and stuff, I feel bad for them because they were using it because they needed it. But what happened was, just like we talked about with the Occupy movement, a few bad apples. The problem here is, just like when we were talking to DB, it's way higher than 60%.
Yeah, the thing about when you talk about the bad apples, too, is if you have a group of 10 people and 7 of them are doing the things the right way and 3 people aren't, the 3 people that aren't are the ones that are going to get 99% of the attention.
And that would have been an argument they could have used with the U.S. Attorney, but instead, the U.S. Attorney was saying that it's more like 80%. Yeah. Now, we talked to DB. She was saying it was over 60. I was saying 60 because I was trying to be conservative with it. So I don't know what's going to happen here.
She laughed at your 60 number, by the way.
Yeah, she thought that was ridiculous. Yeah, but I was trying to be conservative.
Right. We should bring her back on and see what she thinks about this.
Yeah, we should have. I didn't even think of bringing her on the show.
We will. We got to wait a few. We don't want it to become weed talk. It is a very interesting subject, and there's all sorts. I wanted to actually go in a few different directions with it, but I want to wait. Well, we got to spread it out because as much as interesting as it is to talk about, not everybody's interested in weed.
I'm definitely not either, but I just thought it was interesting because there was 222.
I think it's a very interesting subject. I'm not interested in weed. We talked about this before. It's not my thing, but it's an interesting subject to talk about.
It's not your bag.
It's not my bag, baby.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw us out again. Barney Frank is gone. Okay. That's great. Okay, you sent. Let's do the Walmart one. This was interesting.
Yeah.
Gosh almighty. Well, go ahead, little boy. Why don't you talk about it?
Well, it says here that Walmart is possibly profiting from returns, and what they're doing now, it depends on there's 2 sides to every story,
of course.
So we're going to tell it from the side of the consumer right now. Basically what they're saying Walmart is doing is, when you purchase something from Walmart and you purchase it as a gift and you get a gift receipt, if that person takes that gift back with the gift receipt, Walmart is not giving them what you paid for it. They're giving them the lowest price that's been sold in the last whatever, So if you came in and you got you bought something a month ago, and then that part was, that item was maybe 20% less on Black Friday, and that person you had paid full price for it, got a gift receipt, they bring it back, they're only giving them the money that if they had bought it on Black Friday. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah, and it
seems like that's stealing.
Yes, exactly. And the logic behind it is the fact that most people won't ask how much, they won't. If you get a gift receipt, the whole idea is you're not going to ask them how much did you really spend on this.
That's true. Because the gift sheet has no money, right?
Now, it doesn't. It just has a barcode. They scan it, they can see the receipt, and they can give the credit. Walmart is saying it's actually a procedural thing, and their employees didn't understand the proper procedure. But now people are they're suing them and stuff because, if you purchase something, you should get your money back, especially if you do it the right way with the receipt and you bring it back unused and all that stuff. Why should they be able to keep that money?
Well, and in all fairness, they found the same thing at Target, Walmart, Fred Meyer's.
Actually, I think they said that when they tested Target and Fred Meyer that they were not doing that.
Well, I'm seeing right.
Article.
Oh, okay. Is that what it says on here?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that. Okay, so it was just Walmart.
It was just Walmart that they found this in, and
Bailey Shy. But about 50. Oh, yeah. Wow. So Target, Fred Meyer, and Bailey. I never heard of this. Bailey Shy, whatever it is.
It was the person who did the test. It was a reporter. She bought stuff in early October from Target, Fred Meyer, and Walmart, and she got full price back at Target and Fred Meyer, but 15% less she got back at Walmart.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. And I think this is a horrible thing. And I think it's terrible that they do that. Just as much as I think it's terrible when somebody purchases something and then takes it back to Walmart to make money. You hear stories about that all the time. Like, or people steal like an Xbox, and then they go back to Walmart and get a gift certificate, or I think that's just as horrible. I don't think, and the people who do that, the thing that upsets me, and we've talked about this before, they think, well, Walmart's screwing everybody anyway, so this is my way to get back at them. And that's ridiculous. That's how people justify breaking the law. And we talked about it earlier today, and we've talked about it in the past. I don't think that that's right either. I don't think that people should be out, screwing Walmart, but them doing this is not fair and it's not right. And I hope that they get busted for it.
Well, I'm a little bit nervous because I'm agreeing with you. Because that makes me scared. I feel like I'm getting dark. Like I'm in a dark area. But
you're finally seeing the light.
No, I don't see a light. I just said it's dark. Agreeing with you, but that's true. If this is something that's really happening on a large scale, even a small scale, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It needs to be looked into.
And them saying it's a procedural problem is not an excuse, because it is their responsibility to train their employees to know the policies.
But doesn't a computer pull up the receipt at a Walmart receipt? If you look at the bottom, it has a barcode.
Right.
Well, doesn't it just pull that receipt up?
As far as I know, I don't work there, but from what I read in the article, and that's the whole idea of it. That's why you get a gift receipt, so that person can get the full money back. I get if you bring something back without a receipt and they say, hey, we got to give you the lowest price we've sold it for in the last year because we don't want you to take it. I totally get that. But if you come in with a legitimate, the thing unused and a legitimate receipt, then you should get all your money back. That's how it works. It works both ways.
It's funny because we're going to talk about something else about this kind of thing, because both of my daughters are going to the winter formal. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you have one probably going too. High schooler.
I don't believe she's going. No, she's a sophomore. She's young. She's a sophomore.
Okay.
I don't think she's going.
But anyway, they went out to purchase dresses this evening with my wife. And let me tell you, now it's not the same. Well, I don't know how. I wasn't ever a girl, so I don't know. But they write down the dress. They write down the size.
As far as we know, you were not a girl.
Shut up. That's it. That's it.
No. Get that out of here. Dirty, vile.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about Little Boy. Little Boy is scared to death of skunks.
You had that in your pants.
I've had it in my pocket. And if he gets too crazy, the skunk comes out. And that's it.
The fact that that's a stuffed animal, I'm only a little bit afraid of it.
But you're still afraid of it. Wow. Anyway, for those of you at home who know Little Boy, kryptonite. The kryptonite.
There's two kryptonites.
Yeah, but this kryptonite I have. Anyway, they write down the size, the dress, the look, everything. Because, kids, they don't take the tag off. They use it and then try to take it back. Well, that's wrong.
Absolutely, that's wrong.
Because they're... You're stealing it. I mean,
right. That is exactly what you're doing. If you wear something with the tag on and you return it, you have stolen that item.
It's theft.
Yeah.
Let's move on real quick because we're starting to get into the show, and whatever's getting cooked out there smells unbelievable. Yeah. And as soon as the camera's off, I'm going over to find out what that is.
Yeah, so make sure you bring some back from me.
Yeah, because I don't know what that is, but that smells unbelievable.
We got about 20 articles on here. What do you want to pick next?
No, I'm going to go to the Amnesty International. I don't know if you read this today. I actually saw it at foxnews.com.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised you were at foxnews.com.
I live on foxnews.com.
Getting dumber, as we learned in our last episode.
No, we didn't.
We did?
No, we didn't. Fox News reported today that Amnesty International, and it wasn't just Fox that reported this, but I'm going from Fox.
Of course you are.
Amnesty International under fire for demanding that President Bush be arrested. President Bush was on a trip through Africa. One thing that the
what was their reasoning for wanting to arrest him?
Oh, they tried to get him on that he charges that when he was president, he committed crimes against international law. The U.S. Well, and if I was a private citizen and I waged war on a country, guess what? It would be illegal. But the president of the United States it's a sovereign nation, the United States. And if we decide to that we have a justification to go into Afghanistan or go into Iraq, well, guess what? We're a sovereign nation, and we can do that. Well, Amnesty International tried to get the president arrested when he touched down in Africa.
How'd that work?
It didn't work. That would have been a world war right there. But anyway, the president and the former president and former first lady are touring Africa right now on a fundraising tour to curb AIDS. AIDS in Africa is it's running rampant. And I don't know if you remember this, but when he in 2000 was it 2006? I was upset at the time that he put $18 million or something into aid for Africa for to help them curb AIDS. But this is a big thing to the president, the former president.
Oh, you know what? They wanted to arrest him for torture and waterboarding and stuff like that. That's what they wanted.
They wanted to arrest him for war crimes.
Right.
So he's going through. Now, of course, the African nations they love the president, the former president, because he has done a lot to help them out as far as this. This is a big issue for him. And Amnesty International, it's really funny because when I was younger, and my ex-wife, my wife at the time, but ex-wife, she worked for JCPenney's. And at JCPenney's, you were able to give a portion of your paycheck to different charities. I mean, it was very small. I mean, talking pennies, right? That was Amnesty International was one of the places that she donated to. Now, when's the last time you ever heard of them? Seriously. You know, I mean, who's ever heard of them?
I've heard of them, but if you wanted me to talk to you about Amnesty International, I couldn't talk for more than 10 seconds.
That's it. My whole understanding of them was that my ex-wife gave them money from JCPenney's. That was it. That's my whole understanding of them.
Ex-wife gave them money before you had to give her money.
Yeah, well, wow. I mean, that was just uncalled for. So anyway. Yeah. So, but now, hey, listen, they're back in the news, so good for them, I guess. I would love to. Here's the thing. I don't care who the president is. It could be Carter, who goes all over the world. It could be Clinton, who goes all over the world. It can be Obama when he's, after his presidentship. I would protect any president.
Well, yeah, you have to.
Simple as that. It doesn't matter.
No.
And something like this, I guarantee you, Obama would have jumped on.
As much as you're whether you agreed with Bush or disagreed with him, or thought he was a good president or thought he wasn't, you don't want him to get arrested. I don't want him to get arrested.
No way.
And not in a foreign country.
President. Yeah. You wouldn't know. And that's why the American people protect the presidents until they're dead.
Right.
I mean, simple as that. They have Secret Service with them, and that's just how it works. That would have been disgusting, but I had to bring it up today because I laughed. I was reading so much news today. Big news day. I mean, so many things are going on. Stuff about the super committee, which I really wanted to talk about more. All kinds of stuff going on. And then when I read this, I started laughing. I thought, okay, good, this could be in our comics section. So Amnesty International, you got your time on the Fat Man and Little Boy show too. You did good.
Yeah.
You did good. You're really getting out there.
I'm sure that was their goal.
Oh, sure. They wanted to get on our show because, all the bigwigs are on our show. Okay, we have a million other things. You're going to have to pick one here, Little Boy, because... boy, there's just too many things.
Herman Cain looks like he's out.
Herman Cain, my gosh. I still like Herman Cain.
I'm almost as upset about it as you are for different reasons.
Well, if Herman Cain does step down, and matter of fact, I just posted on our website as we were sitting here. So if he does step down because of these allegations that are coming up, he has to do what he has to do for his family. And of course, that has to come first, family. But man, I liked his views. I did not like his 999 plan, but I did like his views. I like the fact that he was self-made. I love self-made people. You know what I mean? They're not career. Now, I think the front runner now is Newt. I think Newt and Mitt Romney. I think Newt and Romney are going to be the
sounds like
front runners.
Sounds like a food company.
Yeah, what the heck is with what happened to the names, Like William Jefferson Clinton. That was okay.
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan, George Bush, Jimmy Carter, James Carter. Now we have Hussein Obama. You know what I mean? You got Barack Hussein Obama. You got Mitt Romney, Newt Gingrich. What is going on with the names?
Times are changing.
Wow. Anyway, a showdown. Now, here's what's going to happen next. And I put it on here too. If Cain drops down, the media is going to have to find their next whipping boy. And I believe their next whipping boy will be.
I don't think Cain was there. I don't think Cain was our whipping boy. All they did was reported things that he said and did. That was plenty. That's all he needed.
Yeah, but they never actually showed that anything happened. Yes, he gave the money to that woman.
No,
but
they
never.
didn't.
But they constantly harped
all
on
they
it.
did
Harped
was
on it. Harped
when
on it. Harped on
if
it.
somebody came forward, it was reported, just like it would be when if anybody was. It wasn't that they were whipping Cain, And you got to start thinking that. Do you really think it was a conspiracy? Now, I don't know.
No.
And you don't know.
No.
You really think it was a conspiracy? They said, okay, you're going to report something and then you're going to report something, where there's smoke, there's fire.
I do believe.
And when you have this many different people coming forward and saying that this happened and this happened and this happened, you got to start thinking, well, maybe this isn't all above board. And he knows that. And as when I remember him first saying about this, what was her name? Her name was Ginger something. He said, I was just an acquaintance of hers. That's the first, answer. And now all of a sudden he's giving her money to pay her bills, Now, I don't know. I wasn't there, but you don't just give money to pay, Do
you remember Clarence Thomas?
The only thing I remember
Supreme
him
Court
is
judge?
I remember the Anita Hill and the Coke can and
So here's the thing. He just stood his ground. He said, "You know what? I will stay here, and you guys can constantly beat me down, but I'm going to stand my ground and make it through."
But it was just her, right? There wasn't a bunch of different people that accused him.
He wasn't
of
running
things.
for president.
I know that, but
so they didn't dig as hard
right.
as they really could have.
They dig. It's not people digging. People aren't digging these people up. These people are coming forward.
Oh, they're coming forward on their own.
Yes.
No, these people are dug up.
Oh,
now,
please.
I would say the next person. Now, the thing about Romney is I don't like the Romney care. You know what I mean? I don't like the way he's run himself up there in New England, but I don't know what to do about it, But Newt has stuff in his past, but he's ready for it.
One thing I like about Newt, one of the things that that I've seen a couple articles kind of bashing him for changing his stance on things. And which surprises me that you like him, because it looks like he has changed his stance on quite a few different things. I actually like the fact that if you feel something about some way about something and you learn and get more information, and you don't have to stay that way. You can say, I've learned, and maybe it's not the way I thought it was, so my stance is actually going to be this. I don't have a problem with that. I know you do, but I don't. And so I'll be interested to see what comes out with that, because that, to me, I don't have a problem with.
Well, the thing is, I believe the media now will start to hit him, because they have to find somebody new, the next guy, and they're going to start to hit him. You keep saying
hit him like they're against all these guys.
Oh, come on.
All they're doing is reporting.
Mainstream media is absolutely the way they are. They're liberal. We don't have to argue about that because it's the truth and you know it. You don't want to say it.
It's not the truth.
Anyway, it's the truth. But here's the thing.
I
would like to see.
They're digging all these skeletons out, trying to plant all this crap, and that's not what's happening. Things happen. All Cain did was talk. That's all he was doing was speaking, and it was funny because he sounded like an idiot. And you say, they're all against him and they're bashing him. No, they're holding the microphone in front of his face. He did it to himself. I'm not talking about
that. He's not going away from that. Why didn't these ladies come forward before?
I don't know. Ask them.
So you think that nobody actually
I think that they should have.
They just decided, hey, I'm going to come forward.
Hey, I'm not a big fan. So you don't think that it's true then?
No, I don't know that it's true or not. I don't know
that it's true or not either. I'm always skeptical when somebody comes out, like when something like this. I'm always skeptical about that. But
only 2, by the way, have come.
There's been more than 2. We'll do some research. We'll talk about that next week because I don't have time to sit there. But I know there's been more than 2.
Now,
and you think about just like this whole Sandusky thing. Have you followed that at all?
Yeah.
The Penn State thing. Look at how long ago that was happening back in the 80s, and people are coming forward now. Do you think that it didn't happen?
No, it happened. Sandusky. That's a whole different story, though.
No, but now all these people. Why aren't you saying? Why are you waiting so long to come forward now? Why are you waiting till it's in the media?
I do actually ask that. Why did they wait so long to come?
Exactly, but you're not in that situation, so you don't know. You weren't abused. You weren't whatever these women.
I'm abused every week sitting next to you. It's nothing but mental and
not
emotional
nearly
abuse.
as much as you deserve. These women, you didn't go through with what they. Let's just, for the sake of argument, say that everything they're saying is true. Okay, just for the sake of argument, you did not go through what they went through, so you can't. It's very hard for you. I don't think it's fair for you to judge what choices that they made.
It's fair for me.
Well, that's the way you. That's one of the main things that's wrong about you.
It's fair for me. I feel like I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Exactly.
But the thing about Newt is, I think the one thing I know is that he knows politics. He's going to know public policy. He's going to know foreign policy. He's going to know. It'll be a great debate.
He will certainly be more knowledgeable than Cain was.
Yeah, it'll be a great debate between him and Obama, or President Obama.
I think it will be. I think it'll be. I haven't been watching the Republican debates very much, to be honest with you.
No, because there's too many of them.
Yeah, every other day it seems like they have one. And they're just boring. But when we start going, when we start getting into the election, that is fun for me. I really
we'll be talking about it the whole time. Now, I totally am looking over there because I hear noise and I smell something that's unbelievable. And do we have somebody coming in here?
I don't know. Well,
I don't know.
I saw. Oh,
no,
maybe not.
I guess not.
Maybe she can't hear us.
I was hoping it was.
Something smells good.
Hello. I hear the door opening back there. Oh, well, whatever. Right. Okay, let's go to the next thing, and then we got to start wrapping this sucker up. Herman Cain. Okay, did you read this today? This was in, again, Fox News. I love it. But at Fox News, Todd Starnes today had it on his news and commentary. Was that Seattle... well, actually, they had a ban on banners that a company purchased. Well, it wasn't a company. It was like a bunch of people together that wanted you to buy American. So they bought these banners and put them on their metro system, their buses. Mm-hmm. You could buy sections on their buses. Well, their metro transit, they banned that, the city of Seattle, that said it was too politically charged. Buy American, save our jobs. Join Seattle's TampaAmerica.org. And basically, it's a group of people who are trying to get you to buy American. Mm-hmm. And it was deemed a political message and that it couldn't be on mass transit. Now, haven't you seen on our buses ever a candidate or another candidate putting something on the bus, paying for it? Because isn't it advertisement?
Boy, you know what? I can't recall ever seeing
I can't say I haven't. I was a transit officer, and I don't remember seeing it either, but I do remember...
I don't remember seeing anything political. I've seen ads on there before, but... and I think, I've seen whole trolley cars completely painted by a company.
Yeah.
But nothing... I've never seen anything political, but I've never looked for it either.
Well, anyway, they reversed it today, that they're allowing it to happen. It was ridiculous.
Well, I think what they need to make a decision, they need to decide whether or not that is a political statement or not. And maybe they took it off because they're not sure.
What do you think about it? I mean, you can look
Buy
at
American? I don't think that's political,
I think that's Buy American, It's a bunch of American companies.
Maybe the Audi dealer down the street would disagree,
What have we come into? What has this world become, our country, become when we cannot support our local businesses.
I agree.
That's ridiculous.
I'm just I'm not saying I support the Audi dealership.
You're
really
just
think
looking for the other side.
Remember, we talked a long time ago, and I had an idea, a tax idea, if you'll remember, when I talked about. It seemed like a very simple solution, but why don't they charge an extra sales tax on stuff in the United States that's not American? Remember when we talked about that?
They have them. They're called tariffs.
What if they made a sales tax? What if they said, from now on, anything that is not made or not by an American company or not by a company in the United States has a 5% sales tax?
They might get hit up with some kind of...
I know, and it seems so overly simple, to just say something that to actually, I mean, I'm not talking about the prices all go up 5%. I'm talking about there's an additional sales tax that prints up on the receipt. And now you're talking about cash registers and all that stuff. So I'm sure that it's much more difficult than to implement. But, there has to be more. We have to have more incentive in the United States to buy American. We absolutely have to have more incentive. And so I personally don't disagree with that banner, but I can see how maybe they might think that it's political. Maybe they have to make that decision still, Well,
I mean, I don't know what's going on there. I know I'm just happy they reversed it. I know I smelled something
there
coming
we
in.
go.
It's Wow Mom. Hello, Wow Mom.
Hey, guys.
How are you?
One of my interns did stick his head in a few minutes ago. I'm going to stick this down in front of you. Can you
Come on in. Yeah, definitely. Come on in.
Watch out for that smelly skunk
I heard
there.
the door opening, and I was like, what is this?
Oh, my goodness.
Hey.
Oh, what do we have here?
It's not on the camera.
This might not be on camera. Let's see. Ooh, it's hot.
All right, let me move it then. How about I come in behind you?
Yeah, come in behind us. Show us what you got.
I'll show you what I got for you. I told you I would come by. Sent you a message on your webpage this week.
Oh, yes. And you know what? I'm sorry about that. We were changing over our website.
But I did say I was going to be in the test kitchen today, and I am.
Aha.
So
What do you have for us?
What we have for you. We've got some chipotle chili. Regular chili, but it's made with some chipotle chili peppers.
Okay.
And we have some mozzarella stuffed rolls that also have some flavored mozzarella in there.
Mozzarella stuffed rolls?
Yes.
Wow.
So
How does that
dump
work?
those things in there. It works really simple. You can either make homemade rolls and do it, or you can buy the frozen ones. And then what you do is you just stuff some mozzarella cheese in them after they're all thawed out. You wrap them back up, make them look just like a roll, and bake them like normal.
Delicious.
Wow. Is this going to be
course.
on your show?
No. This is a test. It will be on the show, but not this week.
Oh, okay.
So this is just a test. We once in a while we try to test when there's other people in the studio, like these two, because I can always count on them to eat it.
Wow.
No problem. So this is just a couple
spicy.
of things that we were trying out. It
That
is a
is
spicy
delicious.
chili.
It is very spicy. Delicious.
We always top our chili with a little bit of sour cream, a little bit of cheddar cheese, and some chives on top.
You can taste that the chipotle.
Yes.
You really
That was
can taste
the whole
it.
point of trying this time and seeing how it was. I really like it. Everybody in our kitchen liked it. So
What's a chipotle chili?
it is a jalapeno chili that's been roasted and flavored.
I look at Little Boy because he gave me so much trouble when Chipotle opened up to explain to me what a chipotle chili was.
It's a smoked roasted jalapeno chili.
Wow, this is really good. This is really
delicious.
good. Wow,
Well,
Mom.
I'm glad you guys like it. I'm not going to keep you, but I will leave this here for
Wow.
you so you guys can eat it, enjoy it, and look for us next week. We're going to have a new show. We'll be taping. We've been a little bit behind, but we will have a new one on next week. Monday or Tuesday probably it'll be up. And partially because they've been working on so much stuff, and they are the mother company to me also, so I have to get in line with them. But as long as I feed them, it seems to speed things up, so
Yes.
we like that.
Hey,
So-
did you find out? I think you're getting a new website as well.
I am. We are working on the new website also. One of the main things on the new website is going to be product reviews. So some of the first product reviews are going to be on things that you use, ingredients you use to make the recipes. We've got some vinegars and some caramel sauces and a couple other things that are in the works. Those will be up there too. And anytime you have a suggestion or a comment, anything you want to have me make or show you how to make or just post on the site, you can go on to my site, which is wowmomcooking.com. Leave me a message, and I will definitely get back to you and try to add anything into the show that you guys would like to see.
Great.
Well, thank you so
right.
much. Thank you
Welcome.
so much. This is great. You know, as soon as
Welcome,
we're
guys.
off air, I'll be scarfing this down.
Yes.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I will see you later.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you. Wow, that was really nice. Or
My lips are on fire.
stuff is spicy.
It's very good. I like spicy food. I really do.
Yeah.
But my lips are on fire right now.
I was gonna have another. That's not.
Yeah. No, it's pretty.
I
hot.
wanted to talk about the super committee, but I think we're running a little late.
We are running
Can we?
late. We'll skip that. And
You know
get
what?
going.
I tell you what. The new website has all kinds of neat things. Maybe if we can get together this weekend, we could do a little blog on the website about it, because I want to talk about I want to talk about that.
Like a little bonus discussion or something like that.
Yeah,
Bonus
can we
video.
do that? You think?
Maybe we can do it remote or something.
We want to do a video?
We'll do remote video like we did when you were in Notre Dame. If I don't have time to get into the studio, we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Let's figure it out. Let's figure out how we can do that and talk about that, because there's a little. I think we should do some little tidbit things, or
I think that's
don't know.
actually
There's
a
all
good
kinds
idea.
of stuff. So again, take a look at the new website. Let us know what you think of it, because we're really looking for all kinds of input here. And
I've been getting a lot of show suggestions. People want us to talk about sports.
Yeah,
We're both big sports fans.
oh, wait a minute. We had an email.
Oh, do you have that right there?
Gosh, no, I don't.
We'll read
You
it
know
next
what?
time. We'll read it next time.
Well, yeah, and again, I apologize. I think what was the person's name? I do remember. It was a pretty interesting email we were talking about. Shoot, I'm sorry. Gosh, I'm real sorry. Like I said, it's been a disaster. We changed everything. They threw me for a loop. I started this when we started the show. Everything was on paper. Easy.
Yes.
Flip over to page.
Yep.
Then they went electronic on us, and now everything is completely electronic. It's crazy. But anyway, let's. I think we need to wrap this up,
Yeah,
little
let's
boy.
wrap
It
it
was a
up.
good show.
Yes.
It was a good show. Didn't fight that much today,
Yeah,
which
next time.
scares me. That means that something's going to happen to me
Yes.
this week, I'm sure.
You can email the show at comments@fatmanandlittleboy.com.
You can email me, fatman@fatmanandlittleboy.com, or go to the new website and hit the Contact the Fat Man link under main menu.
Or you can email me at littleboy@fatmanandlittleboy.com.
Or the same thing. You can
Yes.
click on his contact as well if you don't want to leave your information.
Follow us on Twitter.
You can give us a phone call at 858-522-9164 and leave a voicemail. Next week we will be playing a voicemail. So
We got one.
yeah, we actually have
One
a few
that's good to play?
voicemails this week. So
Okay.
they don't want to be on the show, but they said, "Hey, you can run it." So we'll do that next week. And I apologize to Ray, who's out there, who left us a voicemail.
Cool.
Twitter, you went over the Twitter,
Yeah.
PMLB Crew, and
I'm at Littleboy Show.
I'm at Fat Man Show. And thanks for all the followers on that too, as well.
Thank you to Wow Mom, of course.
Oh, thank you to Wow Mom for this, and as well as being a sponsor this week.
Yes.
Wow Mom actually is a sponsor, even though she's one of our shows.
Right.
But she's the one that actually has a cookware. So there's actually money on her side.
Yes.
So,
How's that work?
yeah.
Click on the ads on our website too.
Oh, that's another thing I wanted to talk to you on the website itself. We appreciate everybody's input, of course, and our sponsors on the website are very important to us. And starting in the next 2 weeks, we'll actually be talking about them on the show. But as of right now, they're just on the website.
Right.
There's deals there. If you can save a little money on your cyber shopping this year,
Yep.
we sure appreciate you clicking through and showing our support and your support for our show through the website sponsors. Little boy, good show.
Good show.
All right.
We got to hurry up. I want to dig into this.
Yeah, I'm going to pop into this chili too. This is Fat Man, and thank you for watching our show, and we will see you real soon.
Take care.